Hello sacristans. Today I'm doing an instructional video to show you how to care for the altar linens, and particularly when it comes to washing them and pressing them. But I want to start off with just showing you the stack. Most of you probably know what everything is on here, but I think it's a good time to have a review, and for those of you who may not know exactly what everything's called. So when we start with the stack, the first linen on the top is the corporal. Now this is going to be a linen that we put down underneath the chalice when we are setting the table for Eucharist. When it is in the stack, it's folded like this, and I'll show you more about that later. This is the pall. This is actually very firm. It has either plastic or cardboard in it. This goes over the top of the paten, which holds the host. There's not much that you have to do with this other than occasionally cleaning it with a damp cloth. The next part of the stack is the paten. This is the little plate that sits on top of the chalice. Typically the priest host is on here. I don't have one on it at this current time, but that's where the priest host would sit. The next layer down has a purificator over the top of the chalice. Now when the purificator is folded, it will look small like this, but when we set the table or set everything out for Eucharist, we basically unfold it and put it over the top of the chalice so that the sides are hanging down. So this is a purificator. Another linen that we're not really using as part of the stack, but that you will need to be familiar with, is the lavabo towel. Now this is commonly used when the priest needs to wash his or her hands. The acolyte or sacristan will have this over their arm. The priest will wash his or her hands in the lavabo bowl and then dry with the towel. Sometimes this gets confused with the purificator, but as you can see, they actually are quite different size, and I'll show you more about that as we get into pressing. Now basically, in terms of laundering these linens, you're going to want to wash them with cold water on a delicate cycle, and with a very mild detergent. It's not always necessary to use something like Woolite or a very gentle one, but if you do use a regular laundry detergent, you're not going to need to put an awful lot in. Using too much detergent or any other treatments over time will wear the linens down fairly quickly. One of the more common issues that you're going to have, especially with the purificator, is that you are going to get probably wine and lipstick stains on them. There's a couple of ways to treat this. For the wine stains, club soda is supposed to work very well. At VTS, we also have a commercial product in the sacristy that is called Wine Away, and that's very good about removing stains. You just spray a little bit on the purificator and let it soak in cold water. If you find that for some reason you have a very stubborn stain that you can't get rid of, you can occasionally use a little bit of OxiClean, but OxiClean really wears down the cloth fibers quickly, so you have to be very religious about doing that and use it only very sparingly. If you do get lipstick stains on the purificators, the best thing to use to get rid of that is just a little bit of Dawn dishwashing soap, just a drop or two over the stain, rub it under cold water, and then put it in the laundry, and usually it will come out with that. The Dawn is very good about cutting the oil. Now, when you've completed laundering the linens, you don't want to put them in the dryer. You actually want to press them when they are damp. And this makes the best creases and is much gentler on the fabric. So I'm starting here with a purificator. This is the right side. You can tell the wrong side because of the way the seams are. I don't know if you can really see this, but you'll be able to see the seams on the back side. That's the wrong side. The way that you can tell a purificator when it's unfolded is not only the size of it, but also the fact that the cross is in the center. If you plan your laundry so that you're not able to get right to pressing them right away when everything's still damp, the best thing to do is put them in a plastic bag, throw them in your freezer, and that way they will stay cold and wet. And then when the time comes for you to press them, just take them out, they'll thaw out, and they'll still be damp and very easy to press. So let's start with the purificator. You want to put it flat on the ironing board. And you actually want it with the wrong side up. The first thing you're going to do, well, first of all, you're going to have your iron set on a linen and cotton setting. And you can use steam. I commonly use steam, and I think it helps. So you're going to have your purificator flat. You're going to just gently press over this just to get out any wrinkles. As you can see, it may catch on the ironing board a bit. You don't want to press it to the point, though, that it's all dried out. The next thing we're going to do is actually fold this in ninths. So you're going to start at the bottom, and you're going to fold about a third of it, smooth it down with your hand, and then press it down with the iron. Then you take the other third, go over that part, smooth it again, and press this with the iron. So basically you're going to start and divide this in thirds. You're going to fold one side just over the cross so that it covers about a third of the entire length. And you're going to press this down with the iron. Then you're going to take the other side and fold this over in the same fashion and also press it down. I usually hold the iron down for a few seconds so that it actually gets a really nice crease. You don't have to be terribly concerned on the back side if the edges don't line up. So when you're done, this should be the right side. The cross should be in the center. And then depending on how smooth it is, you may just want to press over the top with the iron. And there you go. It will not be entirely dry. Basically what we usually do after we press something is we lay it out on a towel, and it will probably take 2 or 3 days to totally dry. So you're going to want to plan your laundry schedule so that you always have an adequate supply of purificators depending on how many services you're having per day. Now for pressing the corporal, you can see that it's pretty similar to the purificator in appearance, although it's much larger. When you go to press this, you are going to want to have the cross close to you and the rest of the fabric across the ironing board. You will want the wrong side to be facing up, and you're going to spread it out here on the ironing board. The first thing you're going to do is fold in the sides. So you're going to do, again, about a third. And you can still often follow the crease lines that have already been placed there if they line up. You want to press it down. And sometimes, as you can see, you have to move it on the ironing board a bit. Okay. Once you have that side pressed, you're going to fold over the other third. And you're going to press that down. Okay. So now you have the two sides folded in. What you're going to want to do is finish this so that the cross is on the outside. So you're going to want to start at the far end, fold in about a third, press it down, and then you're going to want to fold up the section that has the cross and press this down. Again, you're going to set this aside on a towel to dry for a few days. But basically the way that you iron it is important, because when the deacon is setting the table, the first thing the deacon's going to do is take the corporal, fold across toward him or her, unfold it this way, because the cross is going to want to be closest to the presider. And lastly, this is a lavabo towel. You'll notice that it is longer than it is wide. This small cross at the bottom in the center, and when the towel is completely pressed, you're going to want that cross to be in the center and on the outside. So we're going to start by laying this down with the wrong side up. Just going to gently press over it, take out most of the wrinkles. Then we are going to fold in 1/3 from the side, smooth it out and press it. Then fold in from the other side, about 1/3, and press it down. And then you are going to want to bring the two ends together and fold it in half. This will make a nice crease at the top. Just press it down with the iron. Turn it over to the right side. Press out any remaining wrinkles. And then set it aside to dry. If at any time you, when you're pressing, you are having trouble getting wrinkles out, it may be that your linen is a little bit too dry, and you can just re-wet it or spritz it with some water and just start over. That's pretty much it for the pressing and caring of the linens. One thing that you will find that will be very helpful is that immediately after the service, you will want to rinse the linens in cold water. We then typically put them in a tub with cold water and just a little bit of detergent to soak until the laundry is actually done. Typically, we do the laundry around once a week. If you have a lot of services or you're running low on supplies, you may have to do it more often than that. That's pretty much it. I hope that you found this video to be instructive.